Shabbos, stay tuned. There's a gewaldige podcast. Rabbi Steve Geller does a gewaldige Zach, and that'll be coming out this week. Torah Giants on Chumash. Shalom Uvrach, and welcome to the weekly piece on the Parsha from Torah Giants on Chumash, written by Rabbi Rabbi Goodman, the Rabbi Emeritus of Yisro Rockaway. Sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to Torah Giants on Chumash. I'm Steve Geller. Once again, Rabbi Goodman's going to take a scene from the Torah that we all thought we understood and show us an entire world hiding inside. This time we're going to look at a fantastic analysis of how the use of the different names of Hashem inform the message of an event. This week in our Parsha, Vayisaper Moshe L'chosno, Moshe told his father-in-law everything that Hashem had done to Paro and the Egyptians for Israel's sake. The Kli Yakar points out some puzzles in the text of this chapter, especially the constant alternating of Hashem's name between ELOKIM and the four-letter Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. In Pasuk Aleph it says, Vayishma Yisro. Yisro heard all that ELOKIM had done for Moshe and Yisro. While in Pasuk Ches, Moshe tells him all that Hashem, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey did for Paro in Egypt. But didn't Yisro say he already heard? Next, in Pasuk Aleph, Yisro heard about what ELOKIM did for Moshe and Yisro. But in Pasuk Tes, Yisro reacts to the good that Hashem, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey had done for them. Next, in Pasuk Yud Aleph, Ata Yodati Ki Gadol Hashem. Now I know that Hashem is greater than all the gods. What was the actual news that Yisro heard that prompted this reaction? And 4, after Pasuk Aleph states that he heard all the good that Hashem did for them, the Pasuk emphasizes that Hashem had taken Israel out of Egypt. Why was this specific event emphasized after Yisro said he'd already heard all that Hashem had done? In ancient days, there was a philosophic opinion called ditheism that said the world was ruled by two gods, one totally and indiscriminately good to all, even the wicked, and the other evil and destructive to all, even the righteous. Yisro felt that these were not gods he could respect. He wanted to know if there existed one God who did both good and bad for those who truly deserved reward and punishment. Yisro had heard only of the good that ELOKIM had done for Moshe and Israel. He knew that they had left Egypt and crossed over the dry seabed, but not that the Egyptians had drowned. He also knew that Hashem had saved us from Amalek. This is why Pasuk Aleph only mentions their leaving Egypt, the good part. In Pasuk Aleph, Yisro thought he heard everything that happened. He finds out he did not get the full story. When Moshe in Pasuk Ches told Yisro in full detail about the destruction of Egypt as well, Yisro then knew that God was the greatest, for he performed both good acts and destructive ones. There was no possibility that a good God had acted for Israel and a bad God had acted against Egypt. The plagues were meted out measure for measure, as Yisro exclaimed in Pasuk Yud Aleph, which showed that one power was operating at both ends. In referring to acts for Israel's benefit, the pasukim used the name Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey to indicate that at this point Bnei Yisrael were receiving Hashem's help only by the merit of the attribute of mercy, as in pasukim Aleph, Tes, and Yud. But according to the Kli Yakar, at the end of the day, in the merit of Moshe, the attribute of justice, as it would apply to Klal Yisrael, was changed to mercy. On the other hand, the wickedness of the Egyptians converted Hashem's mercy, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, into an attribute of justice. Therefore, in Pasuk Ches, Moshe correctly tells about all that Hashem, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, had done to Paro in Egypt. In other words, even the mercy aspect of Hashem yielded to the need to punish them. And once again, this mixing of the names and Hashem's attributes of justice and mercy are what convinced Yisro that Hashem is the one true God, for he was powerful and intelligent enough to met out both reward and punishment. Just a spectacular insight from Rabbi Ephraim Lunchitz, the Kli Yakar. But why does it say Hashem's name of Din by Moshe and Yisro and Hashem's name of Chesed by Paro and the Egyptians? Yes, they were both changed in Moshe's merit, but why were they written that way to begin with? I asked my Rav Eytan Feiner Shlita, who explained that we know that Klal Yisrael deserved tochacha after the complaints at the Yam, complaints about the water and the food, etc. Through Moshe's merit, the din of those complaints were turned into a chesed. And where it mentions Hashem's name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, indicating his Midah of Chesed by Paro and the Egyptians, Rav Feiner points out that Hashem's vanquishing them once and for all, where Bnei Yisrael would never have to worry about them again, was a chesed to us. Just a beautiful explanation from the Rav. Rav Yitzchak Zev Soloveitchik points out that there is a special mitzvah to tell others about the miracles that Hashem has done. This is described in Tehillim. They sacrificed and told of his deeds with joy. and later on, sing to him, speak of all his wonders. Before Yisro arrived, Moshe could not accomplish this mitzvah, for everyone with him had experienced the same events. Since Yisro was his first visitor, Moshe hurried to do this mitzvah and told him all that had transpired. Notice the text repeats all a second time in this pasuk to emphasize Moshe's enthusiasm in carrying out this mitzvah. So what did we learn here? We learned that it's important to tell everyone about the amazing thing Hashem has done, and that has never been easier to do. You merely have to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, but most importantly, hit the share button, which copies the link to this video, so you could simply paste that link into emails, texts, WhatsApp groups, or your social media of choice. It's the mitzvah of reporting Hashem's wonders, and it helps realize the potential of Rabbi Goodman's life's work, Torah Giants on Chumash. We go to yeshiva to learn, that's Torah. We seek closeness to Gedolim, that's Torah. We daven for inspiration and v'sein chalkeinu b'sorasecha, that's Torah. We come up with chidushim in our own learning, that's Torah. Maybe. Share your chidushim. Send your original Torah pieces to torahmaybe@gmail.com or email that address for more information. Also visit www.youtube.com/@torahmaybe.